Welcome aboard the Ear to There podcast, the podcast that'll help you vacation like a pro in any Disney destination. For those of you standing, please sit down and hold on throughout our journey and get ready to learn how to have the time of your life. And now, here's your host, Phil Gramlich.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ear to There podcast. I am your host, Phil Gramlich. I am also the owner and operator of Ear to There Travel, a Disney-specialized travel agency. It's my job to take away all that stress, all that anxiety, and all that time that it takes to plan a Disney trip so you can focus on the fun things like having a great time, and I mean a great time with your family and friends and enjoying the magic. You can find this podcast, my blog, or request a free, no-obligation quote over at eartotheretravel.com. And as I always remind you, my services from booking fast passes, dining, resorts, special event tickets, really anything you can think of about your Disney trip, my services are always 100% free of charge. Also look for me, hopefully, each and every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on Facebook Live. And that address is facebook.com/eartothere.phil. Each week, hopefully, again, I'll come on and we talk about Disney, the latest news, the latest rumors, whatever you guys want to talk about. It's a fun, live, interactive show, so I hope to see you there this week. Okay, this is episode number 73 for the week of June 12th, 2017. Now, grab a drink, grab a snack, and as a famous mouse once said, on with the show. So I've mentioned this on this show an awful lot, and I'm going to mention it again because I really think it needs to be repeated. Walt Disney World's food is not your father's or your grandfather's Walt Disney World food. In the last maybe dozen to 15 years, Walt Disney World has sincerely upped its game when it comes to food. And I'm talking every kind of food, from signature dining to table service to counter service, quick service to windows to carts on the sides of the pathways at Epcot and World Showcase. Everywhere, the food has taken a huge, huge step forward. So one of my favorite foods to eat on the entire planet are sandwiches. And Walt Disney World everywhere does a heck of a job making some pretty awesome versions of sandwiches. From something simple like a grilled cheese to something super high-end like a lobster eggs benedict, which I'm counting as a sandwich because it's on an English muffin, right? So that's a sandwich. But the sandwiches in Walt Disney World are phenomenal. You can find a great sandwich pretty much anywhere you are in the parks or the resorts. Or, of course, now at Disney Springs, they have a few excellent places as well. So that's why this week, I wanted to focus on the best sandwiches in Walt Disney World. My guest today is a man who refuses to patronize any Subway sandwich shop in the United States because he detests their stingy policy of only giving out one napkin per customer. He's simply known as Lunchbox by the crew running the deli at his neighborhood Publix grocery store. But you know him by his Christian name, Mr. Johnny Shortsleeve. Welcome back to the show.
I don't know where you got that nugget from, but that's true. I don't know. You got me ranting now. They only give one napkin per sub. And I don't know, man, if you've ever seen me try to knock down a foot-long triple meat steak and cheese, you know what I mean? It's like it's like watching someone feed a log into a wood chipper, man. There's shrapnel flying everywhere. There is no way one napkin can pull off that job. Like it makes me furious. And I'm a well-traveled guy. I've probably been to 6 or 7 different states in my life. And I've been to Subway in every one of them. And it's always the same thing. They keep like the napkin container like hidden off to the side. Here's your one napkin, sir. And if you ask him for another napkin, they look at you like you're an idiot. Like, well, look at this. He obviously has coordination problems. He can't use more than one napkin. Like, where am I? I got to put one in my shirt, one on my lap, one over my phone in case there's a little flyover. What else do I have left?
You know what you remind me of, and I'm sorry that this is a tangent already, because that, first of all, I have to wonder why you don't go to Subway anymore, right? Or you do? Because I'm wondering.
No, I'm
why
done.
You still
I wrote them off.
All right, because I was wondering why you still went, even though you had obviously such a huge problem with it. But you remind me of, there's a comedian, Hannibal Buress. And I think he's hilarious. I love him.
Yeah.
And he has this thing where he says, when he goes to a restaurant, they say, sir, would you, they give him a napkin, and they say, people notice that he doesn't put it in his lap. And he says, I don't put a napkin in my lap when I'm in a restaurant, because I have self-control when I eat. He said, I don't need to protect my genes for my sandwich. I learned how to eat when I was a kid. I don't need that. And it just makes me laugh, because I've never dropped, I rarely, if ever, have, I'm sure I have, dropped anything on my pants. I never looked at a napkin as being there to save my pants. I always thought it was there to wipe your hands on under the table so people didn't see it. But maybe I'm doing it wrong. I don't know.
Well, here's a quick funny story about that. So the other day I was at one of the spots that I'm going to mention here. I had to do a little R&D for this, you know what I mean? And I had my son in my lap, and he was drinking a water, and he thought it'd be funny to just dump it in my lap. And I didn't have a napkin in my lap. And so it went all on my shorts. And of course, it froze me pretty hard. And then here's what I do. I went up to go get a refill of that water cup that he dumped. And guess what I started doing? Like, I go on autopilot. I'm just chatting with the cast member, like, hey, and just having a good old, and I don't want to say too much because then it'll give away where I was. But I'm having this chat with a cast member, and then I'm done. I go get my water, and then I go sit back down. And I went, oh no. Like, it literally looks like I just had no bladder control, and I just hosed my shorts. And I'm just sitting there talking to this poor cast member, like everything's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I know for sure that they went back to their place afterwards, like, you not believe that what I just had happen to me today.
I'll tell you what, when I was a cast member, I remember telling those stories to people when I would see guests, like in strange, compromising positions. So, yeah, without a doubt, that story was told later that night.
I am glad to give him some fodder to talk about when they got back home.
He's going to be on a podcast. Like, this one time I saw this guy who went all over himself, and then went and got more water. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's like you had enough water, sir. Obviously,
we're going to have to cut you off here. What's really funny is once, and again another tangent. I was on the Kilimanjaro safaris with my daughter, my oldest daughter now, who was probably 2 at the time. And she sat on my lap. Well, we went with a front. We got backdoored on the attraction, which for people who are listening now who don't kind of know what the Disney terminology is, it means that you don't wait in line. We had a friend of mine walk us through the back and the exit of the attraction. We got a private vehicle to ourselves. Okay, talk about being like VIP'd, right? We get on the attraction. He tells the cast member, listen, who's driving the car, he says, listen, don't even spiel. We haven't seen each other in a while. We're going to just talk as we go through and see the animals. Awesome. So my daughter's in my lap. My buddy and I are talking. We're having a good time. We hadn't seen each other for months. We're catching up. Get to the end, right about where the old little red is okay section used to be. And I feel something wet on my pants. Mm-hmm. And I think, oh no. And I pick my daughter up, and I'm soaked, right? No. She was in a little like sundress with a diaper, and she had an issue when it came through the diaper, and it went, and it wasn't a little bit. You would think 2-year-old, no, it was like full out. So my friend, it's not that at this point, it's not a, have to clean it up issue. It's okay, we're going from 10 trucks on the attraction to 9 because we have to completely take this truck off the attraction and go get the cleaning crew to come clean it. I felt horrible for my friend who had to do that. And then I felt really bad for myself because it's not like there's a men's clothing store right at the exit of Kilimanjaro Safaris. So
you just find someone like the Bautista size guy to put you, like, dip you into the Dyson Airblade to dry your shorts off.
They didn't. I don't remember the Dyson Airblades being there. That's what I would have used. So I remember I got off the attraction. I walked to one of the stores in Harambe and asked the cast member if they had men's shorts, and she said no. And she pointed me to a section where they may have men's shorts. To another store. Make a long story short, I just took my pants off, my shorts off, went in the men's room and sat under the heater for, the hand warmer or hand dryer, or whatever it is. Not a hand warmer. Yeah, because you need hand warmers in Orlando. The hand dryer for like 10 minutes, drying my shorts. And to be completely gross, I put them back on and went about my day. So, because what else are you going to do?
I bet you that made the bathroom smell good, blowing that hot air.
So listen, if I'm nothing if not completely honest and transparent on this podcast, we'll see if that actually makes the show, because we're going to talk about sandwiches here. And so far, all we've talked about is urinating in your pants.
Yeah, this isn't a very appetizing start.
All right, let's forget about those two stories. Let's go. Or my story, really. Jeez. Your story was about spilling water. I don't know where I was going. All right, let's get started. What we wanted to talk about here are the top sandwiches in Walt Disney World, and I really have no reason to talk more. So why don't you go first, Johnny? Pick you. I want to hear your. And again, we don't. This isn't in any order, right? Mine aren't. I think I'm kind of going to go with what you have. Listen to what you have first, and then spin off of that. So, yeah. What's your first pick?
Yeah, I don't have any specific order that I did, so it's not like this is the number one that I'm going to list off right now. But this is one that is brand new to me. I don't know why it took me so long to check this place out. Part of me thinks that maybe the reason was there's been so much hype about it, and I thought, oh well, it's just new place hype. It's probably not going to really deliver, but I don't know. I just kind of slept on it for a while and decided to take the plunge and go check it out. It's Deluxe Burger in Disney Springs. I went there for the first time a couple days ago, and I was blown away. Like, the burgers there are everything you've been hearing about is 100% true. And let me just tell you why. So they have, some fancy pants burgers there, with, sauces and all kinds of other accoutrements. But I decided, let me just check it out and just go straight up classic cheeseburger just to see how they do it. And I'm not exaggerating. This might very well be my favorite burger I've ever had outside the one that I make, because I'm pretty darn good. Look, I don't get this size by accident, man. This is not an accident. This is all premeditated. I cook a lot at home, and I make a pretty darn good burger. But so I talked to a couple of folks there. I said, what are you doing? What's your blend and your beef? And so essentially what they're doing is it's a mix of brisket, chuck, and short rib. That's what this person told me. And I believe it because it was super moist. But here's the thing that kind of hooked me right off the bat. I sat down. I'm waiting for the food to come. Guess what's sitting on the table right there staring at me in the face? A big old roll of paper towels. Just ready for I said, perfect. I'm in. This is the anti-Subway.
And that's what makes this show so darn good, is the full circle. Already, with the first choice of your list, you bring the show full circle.
I know, and it's amazing how that worked. Like, I know, like a pro. Like, I wish I had thought about doing that for for real. But yeah, so big old roll of paper towels because they knew you're going to get messy in there. The burger, they kind of go by default at medium. Let me say this. If you're somebody who's just hardcore, got to have it well done, I want you to rethink that strategy for a second, because it was just so darn juicy. And, some people, when they make a medium, cook their burger medium, they're using a big fat patty, and it's all really, really, really super red inside. And it can be kind of, from a texture standpoint, kind of hard for you to enjoy if you are someone who prefers like the Five Guys style, like cook the heck out of it kind of burger. It was amazingly juicy. The flavor with that blend with the brisket and the short rib in there was out of control, man. It was juicy like I Love Lucy, man. Like, it was. I don't even know how to describe it. Now, here's the thing, though. This is the thing I think is going to polarize a lot of people about this place: the fries. So right now, like, the hot thing is to do like these boardwalk style fries. If you look at the fries, you think that's exactly what they are, but they're not. I had to ask them what was going on because I hadn't had fries like this before. So these are basically pickled French fries, which I've heard of. And this is like the new rage in like the hoity-toity gastropub world, pickling your French fries. So basically the way they do it is they put them in they cut them, they put them in a vinegar bath for a day. Then they drain them and put them in a water bath for another day. Then the third day, it's like vinegar and water mix. Then they fry it twice in 2 different temperature oils. So here's what happens. The result is, if you're a kind of person, the best I can think about is like salt and vinegar chips. If you like salt and vinegar chips, I think this is going to be something like potato chips, not like, what the Brits call French fries. If you like that, that's kind of what the flavor profile reminded me of. But the other thing is it's a texture difference too. Like, how like if you go to a Five Guys or whatever, any other place that has like a boardwalk style fry, it's like just a whole bunch of crunch and then like maybe some mushy potato in the middle. Yeah. This texture was different. It almost like an al dente piece of pasta. It had just a little bit of bite to it. It wasn't like raw potato in there, but it had a more substantial texture than the typical French fry. And then they had like all these crazy dipping sauces. I'm like, yeah, they have the ketchup and all that kind of normal stuff, but they had I don't even remember them all, but the one that my daughter was really digging was a garlic ranch dipping sauce. Like she was all over that stuff. So I think the hype is definitely worth it. And, approach it with caution. I mean, if you hear what I'm saying about like the fries and you think there's just no way, be careful. But if you have an open mind, go into it whole hog because it's awesome. It's amazing. It's like, I don't even want to mess with Five Guys and BurgerFi anymore. Like I'm done with those guys. Like Deluxe Burger, like, and you get the annual pass discounts if you're an annual pass holder, dude.
Which you always have to remind me about when I see you in the parks. Where I was like, dude, get your annual pass out because I always forget.
And I feel like such a jerk saying that, but it's like such a good deal. Like, dude, did you ask? Because you're knocking 20% off.
Yeah. It's really, really a good deal.
So yeah, and it's worth it. And the only thing I would say is there's not a ton of seating in there. So if you go there like a little bit before the dinner rush or a little bit after the lunch rush, and depending on your timing, that's probably the best way to do it. They have some outside seating, which would be cool if you're here in the 9 months of the year when it's not blazing hot, like it is getting to be right now. Yeah. So that's really hot on my list right now. The classic cheeseburger at Deluxe Burger in Disney Springs.
Dude, a couple things you said really, really stood out to me because I haven't been there yet.
It was the paper towels, right? Paper towels.
It stood out. Yeah. Again, that did stand out to me. But the first thing was that you ordered it just a straight up cheeseburger. I love that call because that's how you get to know if the place can make a good burger or not. You don't want all that stuff on top of it.
You don't want it all churched up like the first time
you want to know. You want to know if it's good or not. Like, listen, you don't want a friendly. You're not going to go spend all that money for a friendly cheeseburger. Not to knock on friendlies, but if it's anyway. I don't know why I'm picking.
No, you grade life on a curve, and that's what I think my strong suit is. I think that's what I've been blessed with, being able to grade life on a curve. And you go to Friendlies, you expect, I'm getting good value. That's the product I'm going to get. You're going to spend a few bucks more on a deluxe burger, but it's worth it.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And the reason I thought of Friendlies was because I went last night with the twins. The three of us went, and I got a burger because I was looking. Seriously, I was looking at the calorie count on the menu.
What? And Friendlies?
Dude, I know, but I'm trying to be healthy, and the one of the lowest calorie things was a hamburger from Friendlies. So it was like 800 calories. So I was like, all right, let's get that. So, because I've gotten the salads there, and listen, it's Friendlies, right? They're not known for their salads. They come out. So I'm not going to try Friendlies. I don't want to say anything else. I already said enough. But, so I went there last night, and and I got a burger. My kids each got a meal and an ice cream. We all got drinks, and it was like $15.25. So.
What?
Yeah. You can't even get a burger in Walt Disney World for $15. So, but
I mean, thinking here, what is it? All right. So here's the thing, though. They have this cool duo, like these different duo packages there where you get 2 burgers, fries, and 2 drinks. And you save a couple bucks, but like the classic cheeseburger is $10. And so you get, if you're an annual pass holder, you get 20%. I mean, $8 for a cheeseburger.
That's a good deal.
It's not a bad deal at all.
No. So, okay. So the other thing I wanted to mention was all that work that it takes to make those fries sounds insane to me. Like the way I make fries if I'm at home is I open a bag from the freezer, I dump them on a pan, put them in the oven, and turn it on. Like that's and I can cook a bit, and I even have like deep fryer. I have like a deep fryer and stuff in my house. But you know as well as I do, when you have little kids, lots of times you're just like, all right, what's fast, what's easy, what can we do? Yeah. But I got to get over there to Deluxe Burger because from everything I've heard it's awesome. And I know you're a burger guy like me, and also, you know, as you were saying, you are kind of you're not a food snob, but you know what's good and what's not. So I'm excited, and I'm going to get over there. I'm sorry I don't have more to say about it. I just haven't been there yet. So it's So
we'll do a live review next time you're in town.
Yeah, you know what? We were supposed to do that. I was going to do it with Chuck Rodriguez when I was there a few weeks ago, but the week was just packed, and we kind of ran out of time. It was just very, very busy. I didn't even get to Trader Sam's on that trip. That is a travesty for me.
Well, you know how to book yourself a trip here, man.
I do. Yeah, I can handle it. I will be back in November and in January, so we'll do it then. And then I'm also in Disneyland next month. So
wow,
it's a lot of Disney going on these days for me. All right, so for me, since you went with the burger off the bat, and we decided, I do want to let people know, let the listener know that we don't talk about our list beforehand, but we did have a text back and forth that we decided that a burger would be included as a sandwich. I agree. I think anything between two buns is a sandwich. So we decided that burgers would be allowed, even though I still think you and I will probably do a best burger podcast somewhere in the future, because there are so many good burgers, I think, in the parks and the resorts, and that's a podcast all by itself. But
yeah, there's some really good ones and there's some mediocre ones. We have to make sure we let the people know where to go.
There's some that I would never have again. Of course, yeah. I mean,
we got to set the record straight. Man.
Yeah, we'll do a best and worst of burgers from Disney World. That'll be a good one, because there are some that I'll never ever get again. So speaking of ones that most people may never get, my choice, and I know you're not going to be surprised by this, is over at my first one is over at the ESPN Club, and it is the peanut butter and jelly burger from the ESPN Club. This, I know that it sounds gross. I know it doesn't. Just hear me out. So I'm going to describe how it's made, right? So I'm going to give you the layer. So I'll break it down. So from the top to the bottom, it's a bun, peanut butter, bacon, then the burger, then a jalapeno jam, and the bottom bun. They used to do grape jelly on the bottom with pickled jalapenos on top of the bacon, but they changed it to a jalapeno jam. I actually like the grape jelly with the jalapenos better, but this is still very good. Listen, I know it doesn't sound like it's something that you'd be interested in, and it sounds a little weird. I'm a big peanut butter and jelly fan. I've talked about that on the podcast before. I love the peanut butter and jelly milkshake at Hollywood Studios. If you're putting peanut butter and jelly in anything, I'll probably eat it. I just love it. Since I was a kid, I've loved it. It's a weird sandwich, but it's delicious. It's a great burger. I get mine cooked medium to medium well. And I'm not as we were saying, I'm like a Five Guys. I like their burgers, but I'm normally not a medium well kind of guy. But with this one, I don't like the idea of having the really pink burger with the peanut butter and jelly. It just kind of, that itself kind of freaks me out. So I'd like it to kind of be on the little better, more well done side. But there's something about the combination of the peanut butter, the sweetness of the peanut butter, the kind of heat of the jalapeno like jelly with the burger and the bacon on top of it. Dude, it's awesome. I don't know if you've tried this one. If you haven't, and you and I, again, on my next trip you have to try it.
One thing about, at least my opinion of this is, on ESPN, it seems like it's one of those spots that flies under the radar for so many people. And maybe I don't know if it's the sports theming or whatever, but correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that one that is a pretty easy restaurant to get into if you don't have a reservation?
It is, unless there's a playoff game going on, then or it's literally, or if it's Saturday or Sunday afternoon from
during like NFL season,
NFL and college, because so many people go down, and they have teams that play on the weekends from August basically until January. So if you're there in that, on a Saturday and Sunday during those months, it's going to be hard to get in.
Yeah, and I think maybe one of the challenges too is that it's standing in the shadows of Epcot and World Showcase, which is such a food-centered part of the park.
And there's places on Boardwalk that have technically higher end, better food, more, different restaurants there too.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it may be a good choice for families who are staying in that area in terms of like, Boardwalk or Yacht and Beach or Swan and Dolphin. And if you want to mix it up, have a nice sit down restaurant. And it's good, I think, for kids because it's loud in there. Yep. Well, not loud like a concert, but, it's hard to take young kids to someplace like California Grill. You can do it. It's done all the time.
You just bring the duct tape with you. Fine.
You might feel a little self-conscious if like the couple next to you is getting engaged. Like, man, we got to keep it quiet. Keep it down, guys. I want to hear this. No.
Don't throw that soup spoon over that. Don't throw it over there.
It can kind of spoil the mood, especially, it's expensive for some of those places, but that, ESPN might be a good alternative for families to think about if they are looking for just a no fuss, good, solid meal.
And don't get me wrong. If you want to go to ESPN and propose, by all means, wait till halftime of the Eagles game and get down on one knee and propose if that's what you want to do. But no, you're right. It is loud in there, and it can be. You don't have to worry as much about your kids making noise. And just, this one is big for me. They have Kraft macaroni and cheese in there. Now, I don't know why that's a big deal for my daughter, but it is. And even around here when we're, at home going out to restaurants, she loves to get Kraft macaroni and cheese at restaurants. And she doesn't like there's a couple other, like they do the butter noodles and stuff like that at other restaurants. No way. We're going to have a meltdown city if they bring something like that out to our table. So, yeah, it's a good place to go. Your kids can kind of get in there. They have the dirt cupcake, which is awesome. It's a cupcake with like kind of crumble cookies on top of it that have the gummy worms like coming out of the cupcake. So if you want your kids to eat super healthy, get them the mac and cheese and then the dirt cupcake. And seriously though, it's a good place to go. They have trivia nights there where they'll have the guys that sit in the ESPN radio booth and they'll do trivia like, NFL, Major League Baseball, college football, trivia contests. And I love that. And I went in, and what's funny is whenever I've gone in there and worn my Philadelphia, sports team gear, they tend to find me and pick on me a bit. I think because the Philadelphia fan is kind of notorious for being not the most, pleasant fan in the world. I think they think they're going to get me on the microphone and I'm going to be a complete maniac, but I'm not like that. I mean, maybe during a game I am by myself, but anyway, yeah, ESPN, great for your kids, great for your family, and the peanut butter and jelly burger is awesome. I promise you won't regret it, and if you do regret it, my name is. No, I was gonna name another podcaster, but I won't. So.
Yeah. We don't want to throw any traffic over somewhere else.
Yeah, it's a good point. All right, man, you're up. What do you got?
Okay, this next one might be like top 3 for me in terms of like, I know I didn't put like an order together of ranking, but this sandwich to me really is like one of the best things I've had in a very long time and would get this all the time if finances were permitting, because it's not cheap to eat at Disney if you're a local, man, like every day. If you're on vacation, you're on vacation. But then this isn't something that's going to break the bank either. It's the salmon BLT at Geyser Point, and this
I knew it was coming.
I knew that was buried in there somewhere. It's over at the Wilderness Lodge. So if you're a guest at the Wilderness Lodge, super easy to walk down by the water. It's over behind the pool. They have this amazing new structure that they built with a bar, really nice seating, really comfortable seating. That's in this overhang. That's all open to the water. It looks out onto Bay Lake. They do have the ability to close it off if there's like a major storm blowing through, so you won't get totally hosed. They have some nice outdoor, very comfortable seats, like in the outdoor area too, in the patio. So there's really two main things you can do for food there. There's the walk-up window, which is like their little, kind of like a little upscale quick service window, and then there's the like the bar menu where they have some small bites and some really interesting things that are on there. So the salmon BLT. It's on like toasted multigrain bread. It's got a really nice salmon fillet on there. It's like just a very simple seasoning, like salt, pepper, and some lemon. Like nothing super crazy. Lettuce, tomato, and some really nice bacon. Not like that flimsy bacon that a lot of restaurants like to put on sandwiches that if you sneeze on, it'll just blow into a million pieces. Like some hearty, not like thick cut for your butt kind of bacon, but like right in the middle of the road. Good for a sandwich like that. You don't want to like have jerky on there and like the texture of jerky bacon like super thick against a tender salmon fillet just won't work. So they did it really nice. And the thing about it too is they have these waffle fries that they serve. You can get like a quinoa salad, but I'm not that crazy. The waffle fries are the best waffle fries I've ever had in my life, hands down. If you're somebody who's like totally into the Chick-fil-A waffle fries, and you try these, you're basically going to kick Chick-fil-A to the curb. Like it's just, not that Chick-fil-A waffle fries are, super awesome. They're okay. But they have this amazing texture to them, like this super firm crunch, and they're not like overly salty. Just perfect amount of seasoning on them. And the only downside is, if you're a big dude like myself, you might eat that and go, well, what's next? It's not like a massive sandwich. But here's the thing. I like that. It's just enough to kind of fill you up and you feel comfortable. And it's like good, clean eating. And when you're done, you don't feel like you're weighed down. Because that's the thing I think a lot of people do as a mistake when they're eating at Walt Disney World. You're out, you're walking, you're burning a lot of calories, and you're ravenous. You just want to just go pig out on something. And that's cool, but the downside is you are going to have an aftershock, basically.
Man. Yeah, absolutely you do.
You go into that food coma. So you kind of want to pace yourself. And, having, maybe instead of 3 meals a day, maybe it's 4 meals and just have like a lighter, a snack in the middle of the day. But something like this is a great meal to have, in my opinion, because it doesn't make you feel weighed down. It's very filling and it's nice. But you're not going to get full to the point where you need to have somebody, get a wheelbarrow and haul you out of there. Like some of the restaurants you might feel like. So when you combine everything, like, just it's an amazing flavor. There's nothing like it that I've found on property. I'm sure there might be somewhere else that there's a salmon BLT. I haven't seen it. And there's great ambiance. It's a nice place to hang out. And if you want to drink too, then the bar's right there. You can grab a beer or some wine or a cocktail. Very cool bar menu, very cool small bite menu, and just an awesome place to sit and just relax and enjoy the water on Bay Lake and watch the boats go by. And even at night, depending on where you're sitting on that patio, you can even catch some of the fireworks from the Magic Kingdom, Happily Ever After. And then at nighttime, the electric water pageant comes through there too. So a lot of really good wins in my book for this restaurant, and especially for this sandwich. So salmon BLT at Geyser Point.
Dude, and that's a place that I'm so happy that they built something there, because I feel like Wilderness Lodge kind of lacked like that little, I don't know. I understand it's supposed to be wilderness and in the woods basically, but that dock has always been there. And it kind of lacked that, the water aspect that some of the other Magic Kingdom resorts have. To me, anyway.
Times are changing, man.
Yeah,
those cabins are coming along really fast on that waterfront, and they're redoing Roaring Fork right now, which was previously the quick service restaurant. They haven't, at least I haven't heard much about what they're doing to it in terms of changing the menu or anything like that. Artist Point, their signature dining restaurant, is one of my favorites. I love Artist Point a lot. There's and all around, I love that resort. And I'll say this real quick about it. So if you're saying, well, I'm not going to stay at Wilderness Lodge, this is off my list. Don't go and discount it that easily. It's very easy to get there. I think one of the easiest ways might be, like, say you're at the Magic Kingdom, You can grab a bus from the Magic Kingdom to the Wilderness Lodge, and you'll be there in like 4 minutes. It's such a quick bus ride, and there's usually no one ever on those buses. Or if you want to have a nice leisurely boat ride, you can take one of the water launches, the boats that go over there. That might take you like a 15-minute boat ride or something like that. But or if you have a car, just drive up. Now, just be careful with the car, because depending on the time of day, they may not let you, or the time of the year too, they may not let you get in there because, with peak seasons and all that kind of stuff. But it's easy to get out there. It's worth the time, and it's such a nice little walk through that resort. So it'll be a nice way to kind of cap off a little adventure for you to go over there and get some lunch or get some dinner.
Yeah, and another thing, man, that is cool about Wilderness Lodge, and it's the same thing kind of rings true about Animal Kingdom Lodge. The two lodges are basically introductory deluxe resorts. The price point is lower than, say, the Contemporary, the Grand Floridian, or Boardwalk, or Polynesian. So if you want to stay in the deluxe, kind of dip your toe into the deluxe resorts, that's a good one to start with, because you definitely save a little money.
Well, and they redid the pool over there. They're redoing their second pool. I peeked in one of the rooms that they're making into the little studios for the DVC, which you can still get if you're not a DVC member. We talked about that on the podcast a couple months ago. Those rooms look really cool.
I love what they're doing with the rooms now, with the redos at Disney. With a rubber, almost like a rubber wooden floor. I don't know what material they use for that. It looks like a wooden floor, but it's rubber, and it kind of keeps the sound out of that room or in the room. So it's really nice, and you don't get that almost like that skeevy hotel feeling, like you're walking on a carpet that a million people have just walked on. Or I don't know if that's just me, because I have a weird thing. But that's another reason why they changed all the linens at the blankets and stuff at the all the resorts as well. Now they're all white, because people, you get a little skeeved out by sleeping in these. I don't know. So I think they're doing a great job. I know I'm weird. I'm weird with that stuff. I've had in Walt Disney World. I've had some hotel issues in other places that I can't get over, apparently. All right. But yeah, so,
and then you became a travel agent.
I know, right? What the heck was I doing? No, it's because now I can help people avoid those places.
Oh, okay.
This one time I stayed at now, first of all, whatever. It was in Baltimore. I stayed at a Days Inn in Baltimore. Now I know Days Inn. I know I heard a noise from you.
Well, not so much Days Inn, but Baltimore is. You got to be careful.
You got to be careful in Baltimore, and Days Inn is not the most lavish hotel chain, but I remember we went to catch an Orioles game, and I walked from the harbor to my hotel, and I pulled back the blanket. It was late, and I was rolling in bed and go to sleep, and there was just hair all over the bed, like nobody, somebody didn't even clean that room. They just rolled the blanket back up over the hair and hoped I wouldn't notice. Oh, it was the grossest.
We should be careful, man, because you might have some listeners from Baltimore. Hey, we love Baltimore. If you're from Baltimore, thank you for listening to the podcast.
No, it's true.
If you're not from Baltimore, be careful.
Listen, you've seen The Wire, right? Everybody's seen The Wire.
I haven't. I know it's supposed to be the best show ever made. I haven't seen it.
All except for there was one season of The Wire that wasn't good. It was this weird season that didn't really. It was like the Halloween 3 of The Wire. How Halloween 3 was like, it wasn't Michael Myers. They were all wearing, it was like a mask that burned people's faces off or something. That's kind of what the one season of The Wire is. Anyway, we're the crazy tangent. Let's get back. Sorry, Baltimore. I love the city. I really do love the city. I used to go there all the time. I had friends that went to grad school there, and I loved it. But you just have to know where you're going in Baltimore. That's all. Because you gotta watch the streets you walk down in Baltimore. All right, Baltimore, we love you. Okay, so I'll be editing.
You gotta say it right too, Baltimore.
Yeah, you're from the area. You should know those streets.
Yeah, you gotta take. There's too many consonants in there. You gotta chop a few off. Is that how
they say it?
Yeah, Baltimore.
Oh, I don't say it like that. All right, now I gotta get out of here. All right, let me get on my next one. So, what did you say? You went with the, so I'm going to go with the seafood one too. Because you went with the salmon BLT. This is a place, it's at Magic Kingdom. I find myself in this restaurant now, like almost every time I go to Magic Kingdom. And it's partly to do with you because I went with you and your family a couple years ago, and I think I've been there on every trip since. And it's Columbia Harbor House, and the sandwich I'm talking about is the Anchors Away sandwich at the Columbia Harbor House. Listen, you're going to look, if you're listening to the podcast, you've never heard of the Anchors Away sandwich, you're going to go on to the Disney dining site and see it's a tuna fish sandwich, right? And you're going to be like, well, whatever, what's the big deal? Why would I care about a tuna fish sandwich? No, it's amazing. I don't know what they do to that tuna. It is phenomenal. So it's just, they call it tuna salad. I don't know. There's no, one thing that I really like about it is there's no, I'm going to be weird again. I don't like celery or anything crunchy in my tuna fish, right? The texture freaks me out. I don't want any of that stuff. Like when people put like things in like potato salad or like anything crunchy and like a salad, I can't deal with it. So I can't deal with celery in my tuna fish. So it's a weird hang up I have. I know I should be seeing a therapist for my weird hang ups, but this doesn't have that. I've tried to get the recipe for this sandwich. Disney keeps it pretty much under lock and key. I can't find it. So I can make a pretty good clone of one. But I haven't had the exact one. So from what I can tell, they do like a little lemon juice in it to kind of get rid of a little bit of that, like the overly like fishy kind of taste to it. It is awesome. The chips they serve with it are better than the chips. I mean, better than the French fries you can get pretty much anywhere else at Magic Kingdom. They're like a dark, like, kettle chip. I don't know what the heck to do with them. Like I said, I think I said it is toasted on multi-grain bread. It is awesome. It's a great sandwich. And, one of the cool things about, Columbia Harbor House is going upstairs, sitting with a view of Liberty Square or Fantasyland or, the Haunted Mansion from the second floor, so sitting by a window is awesome. So yeah, so that's my choice. I'm going to have another seafood choice in here too, but my one seafood sandwich is the Anchors Away sandwich from Columbia Harbor House because it is awesome.
Now, do you have another choice from that restaurant too?
No, that's
on your list. Okay, because I was going to say I was pretty sure you were going to pull something from Columbia Harbor House, but I also thought you were going to do the lobster roll.
Yeah, I know, because that's also that's a really good one. And good memory, because you remember I did have that last time I was there with you.
Well, and my go-to there is the salmon, like that little salmon entree they have, which is here's how crazy I am. So I get the salmon entree, which standard fare comes with steamed broccoli and couscous. But I'm like you, I'm not a huge I don't like raw onion, so like there's a lot of it kind of peppered in that couscous. So I just say, you know what? Can I substitute the couscous for something else? And like, yeah, sure. What do you want? And I go, mac and cheese. Like, they look at me like I'm an idiot. Like, you get this nice piece of, broiled fish and some steamed broccoli, and you're getting this big old cup of mac and cheese to offset it. I was like, yeah, man, it's like balance it out. Yeah. I don't want to totally throw my system out of whack
you
here.
Need some carbs in there.
Yeah, that's how you got to balance it out.
You got to even out the food groups. You get the
mac and cheese at Columbia Harbor House is no joke. It's good stuff.
Yeah, man. Listen, I've seen. I don't remember actually the mac and cheese, but it is it's funny because the cast member, I'm sure, looks at you like tries to find the child behind you that's going to eat your mac and cheese. But mac and cheese is good stuff, man. I'm not gonna. I can't really knock you for that. So one thing I think I told you, but I don't think I've ever said in a podcast before. So I was actually talking to my friend about this today. Was there's a guy that used to come in there, I don't know if he still does, on pretty much a daily basis to get the Anchors Away sandwich. He's obviously an annual pass holder. He's an older gentleman. He always wears the same hat. He always wore, I think he was saying it was a Tide like racing team hat. And he wore it pretty much every time he came in. And he got the tuna sandwich every single day, the Anchor's Way sandwich. And they found that his name was Tom, so they affectionately nicknamed him Tuna Tom. Because that's, of course you would give him a nickname if you got the same sandwich every day. So then they found out that he would go to other restaurants in the Magic Kingdom around that, the Columbia Harbor House area, like at Pinocchio's Village House or somewhere else, and ask for the tuna sandwich. And even though those restaurants didn't have it, they would send someone to go get it for him, which I think is really super cool for Disney to do that. Obviously, he was an older guy. I don't know if he was confused or what his exact story was, but he used to order that sandwich wherever he was and in Magic Kingdom, and they would go send a cast member and get it for him. I thought that was really cool. Like, what other place like on the planet do they do stuff like that? So it's a kind of a cool cast member story. So good job for the cast members, and I just like the lore that is the story of Tuna Tom. I like that story.
Yeah, I'm looking at. I did a search while you were talking about it to see what comes up, and there's the threads on some of these discussion boards are pretty old, like 5 or 6 years old on this guy. So hey, that's interesting. Maybe we need to,
I didn't even know. I didn't even know it was a widely known thing.
Yeah, I searched Tuna Tom, and there's a couple of threads that came up from like 2010 and 2012. So I need to go down there and do a little on the scene investigation here.
Wow,
see if this guy's still doing it.
Well, I didn't even know it was a real thing. All right, well, cool. Well, Tuna Tom, if you hear the podcast, shoot me an email or a text, and we'll talk. I would love to hear from that guy. That'd be fun.
Yes.
All right, man. Well, we're not getting Tuna Tom on tonight, so you're up. your next one.
All right, this one is way up there on my top list of favorite sandwiches of all time at Walt Disney World. It's the Aloha Pork Sandwich from Captain Cook's at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort and Bungalows and Trader Sam's and whatever the full official name is. It's a mile long. So basically what this is, it's as I was told, it's kind of like the Kalua pig style way of cooking pork, like in Hawaii. So it's a smoked pork that's slowly cooked, and it's got like kind of a sweet barbecue flavor, but it's not dripping in sauce like some places. If you get like a pulled pork sandwich, it's just just a big pile of mess in your hands. So it stays together really nicely, good flavor. It's served on this pineapple coconut bun, which kind of reminds me of the bread. I don't think it's the exact same, but it's kind of similar to the bread up at Ohana. And put some cheddar cheese on there, some coleslaw. I think they call it like an Asian slaw, like just a little different flavors in there. These nice little cucumber slices, like the long cucumber slices, and then some sliced tomatoes. But here's the move. You got to get the chips, not the fries. Because when you get the chips, because they'll default to the fries if you just ask for the sandwich. If you ask them for the chips, what you get is like something like what you were just talking about with the Anchor's Away sandwich, like those house-made, like kettle cooked, like fresh-made, like in-house potato chips. And they mix them, though, in with these like wonton, like fried wonton pieces. So it's this really neat, like, hodgepodge of fried stuff that they throw in there with the sandwich. I like this for a number of reasons. I mean, number one, it's kind of off the beaten path. If you're staying at the Polynesian, no big deal. You can get over there very easily. But otherwise, to get there, you grab a monorail from the Magic Kingdom or a bus from one of the other resorts and just go over there. Easy to get to. But it's usually pretty easy to get a table in Captain Cook's. They have some nice outdoor seating and indoor seating. But the one warning about the outdoor seating is sometimes the birds are a little aggressive over there. Because what happens is people just think it's fun to feed the birds. And I don't know where they got that. Probably, it's like they saw it in a movie or something. Started singing the tune. Like, I don't know. That's how popular it is. So what happens is those birds, they get used to getting fed by the guests. So they're just over there going crazy. And we had a bird dive bomb my daughter and snag a fry from her. It like almost took my eyeball out when it came off with the fry. So I don't like to eat out there a lot. I do like to eat indoors more because of the birds, but don't let that deter you. It's not like an Alfred Hitchcock scene, like where they're just like circling overhead and looking to peck you to death. But it's just something to be mindful of with kids, because kids, sometimes what happens is, you know how it goes. You either eat a couple bites and they get up and they want to dance around and walk away or do something like, and so when that, food becomes unmanned, that's when it's like fair game in their book. So, if you're just sitting there and you're doing your thing and you're staying at the table, they'll usually leave you alone. But the good kind of bird is the ducks. The ducks like to hang out there and walk around. They're neat to kind of watch waddling through. But again, they like to get fed by the guests there, so you have to kind of be careful. Don't feed the ducks. I like it too because it could be a good spot to go to if you're going to Trader Sam's, because it's right next door to Trader Sam's. So if you Trader Sam's has some good food, don't get me wrong, but if you want to like maybe get something a little more substantial before you go over there and have a couple cocktails or beers or whatever, that's a great spot to hit, and that's a great sandwich to throw in your belly before you start tossing back some beers down your gullet. That's a good move to make. So Aloha pork sandwich from Captain Cook's at the Polynesian.
Dude, great pick, great sandwich. Amy, today she and I over breakfast were talking about like my list, and she said, you have to have the Aloha pork sandwich on there. And I was like, no, because I knew you were going to pick it. I was like, I'm not going to steal one from him, because I know that's one of your favorites, and it's one of her favorites too. Yeah, it's a great pick. I have talked about it a lot on this show. I love Captain Cook's. It is, like you said, it's not always, but it's pretty easy normally to get a table over there.
Yeah.
It's nice to take a break from the Magic Kingdom too, because it's so easy to get there. Take a break from Magic Kingdom, for lunch or for dinner. Go over there. You can sit, you relax in the air conditioner. And then when you're not in the air conditioner, I don't know what that
you can.
Would be.
It's a really hot day. You just go right in there. You snuggle up to that coil and you just say, "Cool me down."
The air conditioning, and then we've talked about it before, but then you can go right outside to Pineapple Lanai and get your Dole Whip, man. No line out there.
Yeah.
Never.
I know.
Line.
Yeah.
Just walk over. I mean, that is like the local spot for Dole Whips. I know that the people who live down there who are local, they kind of want to get your Dole Whip fix. That's a perfect place to go. But yeah, great sandwich, man. It's a really good pick, and I just love everything about that resort. I know people were so disappointed when they redid the lobby. I really like it. I think it just brings it. It's so much more open now. There's so many places to sit, relax, and kind of people watch and hang out. I love the resort. So yeah, dude, awesome pick.
Cool, man.
All right, so where am I going? I'm going to see, I'm following you every time. So I'm going to go with another resort on the monorail line, and we're going to jump on the old monorail and go over to the Contemporary at the Contempo Cafe. What's cool about the Contempo Cafe is whenever I eat there, I always feel like it's such a you're in Walt Disney World moment, right? Like you're in there. It's the monorail's whizzing over your head. You're in that main tower, and it just feels like the commercials you've seen since you were a little kid. Like I love that resort for that reason. There's just so much like nostalgia as soon as you walk in with that place. I love it. Contempo Cafe is a counter service place that has a really good menu, and you wouldn't expect it, I don't think, because I don't know if it's the layout, because it's all this big open air area. And it just doesn't look like, for me, it doesn't look like it would have like amazing food. I don't know why, but it does. And it has a couple really good sandwiches. Excuse me. I was like a weird hiccup. So we were there in January. Our last night we got my family and I had a theme park view at Bay Lake Tower. And we watched Wishes from there. That was, I think, the last time my kids got to see Wishes, which was super cool to see from there because what an awesome vantage point. But we had gotten there right before Wishes started, so we had checked in. So Amy said, listen, run down to Contempo Cafe, get us a couple sandwiches. So I went down and I got us the Chicago-style Italian beef sandwich. And then I didn't know about the braised beef grilled cheese, which is actually the one on my list. So I got both because I said we'll just share them. And she and I both tried the braised beef grilled cheese first, and neither of us wanted to eat the Chicago style beef sandwich afterwards because it is that good. And the Chicago style beef sandwich is really, really, really good. But dude, the braised beef grilled cheese is shredded beef on brioche toast with cheddar, slaw, cheese sauce, and barbecue sauce. Dude, it is awesome. I don't know if you've had it. It is, I can't even explain it. It's, imagine a grilled cheese with, like a pulled, like not a pulled pork, but like a
pot roast kind of deal?
Yeah, pot roast. That's the word I was looking for. It's basically a pot roast on top of a grilled cheese with slaw. It is awesome. And like that thick cut, brioche bread. Dude, it's such a good sandwich. It's, dare I say, bananas. The sandwich.
Ooh.
This sandwich is bananas. It's that good. It is that
You're a
good.
big Gwen Stefani fan?
You know what, man? I do like my Gwen Stefani. I like her old stuff. I like the No Doubt stuff a lot more. But you got to admit, that song was pretty catchy.
Oh yeah, no, it's a toe tapper. That's for sure.
That's a good one.
I've only had the grilled chicken sandwich there, and I know people probably listen and say, "Man, this guy eats so healthy. Why is he so robust?" I don't know. But the grilled chicken sandwich there is really good
because people don't know you'll get the grilled chicken, but you'll get 6 of them.
Right. I mean, because it doesn't matter. It's like the math, it's like always a multiplier of 1. Like it's always just one.
It's always healthy.
It's
always grilled chicken. It's always salmon, so it's healthy. You can eat it.
Yeah, it's been a little while since I've had the grilled chicken there, but it's like like a really good like Italian like herb, like marinade, not just like straight up grilled chicken like bland. It had like some good seasoning on it, and it had pepper jack cheese. It's good stuff, man.
Dude,
I haven't had the other one that you were talking about. The
Chicago beef sandwich, dude.
Yeah, I didn't know they had that there.
And they dunked that in the au jus, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's really good. It's just not as good as the other one, but they're both excellent. And again, like I think it's the weird layout of that place, like because the restaurants are kind of like it's separated to Chef Mickey's and to the Outer Rim by like little walls that you can kind of see over. So it's a weird like layout. So I think that I don't know why in my head, probably because I'm a lunatic, that makes me think that the food's not going to be as good. But it is really, really good. Like I was super surprised with how good it actually is. So yeah, again, Contemporary is another place where you can jump on a monorail. It is so fast to get to the Magic Kingdom by get to Contemporary by monorail. It's the first stop off the resort monorail. It takes like a minute and a half to get there.
Or to walk. I mean, you can even walk it.
I was going to say the secret is monorail it from Magic Kingdom to Contemporary to get there fastest, but walk from Contemporary to Magic Kingdom because Magic Kingdom is the last stop from the Contemporary. So you'll hit all the other resorts first. So it's a lot faster to walk if you're going from the Contemporary to MK, but the opposite at the end of the night when you leave the Magic Kingdom going back to the Contemporary. That's just a tip. But it's a tip. I like the tip because it makes it. Somebody told me that once, and it was like a light bulb moment for me. Like, oh, that makes so much sense. Like it's
When you said MK, I was thinking like how I don't know if you see this a lot. I see it all the time. People walk around with those expensive bags, the Michael Kors bags, and they have the little MK logo on them. I always think Magic Kingdom, and I know that probably so. I don't know how much those things cost. I'm sure they're not cheap. But I look at it every time and go, oh, Magic Kingdom. Oh, wait, no, that's not
Dude, you're talking to the wrong guy. The most expensive bag I have is an Amazon.com bag that I use to hold my camera. So I'm not exactly someone who knows like expensive stuff. I bought my wife for Mother's Day. She wanted this Vera Bradley purse, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I never heard of Vera Bradley. I had heard of Vera Wang, but never Vera Bradley, right? So I'm like, all right. So she wanted this little tiny, what do you call it? It looks like it's like
a clutch.
Yes. Yeah, dude.
I mean, I don't know what is it called again? I don't know. What?
So double
handbag.
It's like
purse?
it's double points for you. and you lose man card points for that. But you're right. That's exactly what it is. It's a clutch. So
I have to go pee outside now to get some of those man points back.
So I go to the store to get the Vera Bradley clutch, and I didn't even look at the price of it because I saw how little it was, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be like $10."
It's like buying it by the ounce. Like,
yeah, like it was
like
this little thing, and I was like, and you know what? I had already gone to Pandora, the Pandora retailer place, and got Amy 2 Pandora charms for her Pandora charm bracelet. So, you know, that's an easy one for you guys who may just be getting married. Buy the Pandora gift bracelet 1 year, and then if you always have a default gift because you can always buy a charm. That's a hack, if that's what I think the kids are calling it these days. So anyway, I got the 2 Pandora charms, and they were, you know, whatever. It's Mother's Day.
It's not a life hack; it's a wife hack.
It's a wife hack. That's right. So I go to the store and I get the Vera Bradley clutch, and I put it on a counter, and I'm there with my kids, and she's like, she scans it, and she's like $78, and I was like, what? Like $78? It's the size of a wallet. And she's like, oh, it's Vera Bradley, and I was like, all right. What are you going to do? You're going to look like a dope if you don't pay for it at that point. So, yeah. So now she loves it. She uses it every day. But anyway, I'm hoping I don't sound like a complete maniac on this episode. But hey, I am who I am. There's nothing I can do about it.
Hey, keep it real, man. That's why everyone keeps coming back.
I hope. All right, man. Was it you or was it me? What's up here?
I think it's me. You just said Contempo Cafe.
Yes.
So I don't think I've mentioned anything in a theme park yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and mention something in a theme park. It's at Disney's Hollywood Studios, which I know people want to hate on Disney's Hollywood Studios so much right now because, you know, a lot of construction. People hate on it from a food perspective too. Think it's not as good. I think there's some great choices there. One of my favorites is at the Backlot Express, and that's something that a lot of people just blow right past. But I like the caprese sandwich at Backlot Express, and you know, kind of like on the same vein of the salmon BLT. It's not one of those things that's going to really weigh you down. It's, you know, especially like on a hot day if you're starving, it's awesome because I mean, it will fill you up. It's not going to weigh you down and make you feel like you're going to, you know, go into a food coma. Is it the best caprese sandwich in the whole wide world? Probably not. But kind of like I mentioned earlier, I think one of the things that I feel like I have as a strength is I can grade life on a curve and look at that and say, for what you're getting from a price point, from a convenience standpoint, and the way they execute it, I think it's pretty darn good. So, you know, it hits on the standard caprese formula, which, at least in my opinion, what the standard formula is. So you have fresh mozzarella slices, tomato slices, balsamic vinegar. But, you know, like a traditional caprese, like olive oil and basil are strong components. The way they do it is a pesto that they drizzle over the sandwich. And they also throw some arugula on there, which isn't, you know, traditional, you know, caprese type of presentation, but I like it because it gives you that little crunch. It gives you a little contrast in texture, but also gives that peppery component, which I'm sound like I know what I'm talking about here when I'm talking about arugula being peppery.
I feel like I'm listening to Guy Fieri here doing his breakdown.
The mayor of Flavortown. Got my sunglasses on backwards, you just can't see it. And although he and I have the same car, but his is a convertible, mine's not. So I lost my train of thought. Oh, the arugula. So I like it because, you know, when you do get like a caprese salad at a restaurant, they'll usually put some fresh cracked pepper on there. I think that arugula kind of achieves that with that peppery kind of flavor profile that comes off of it. Now here's the thing. On the menu, they do what, you know, they think they need to do. They say, oh, you can get carrot sticks on the side, but come on, homie, don't play that. I mean, I go with the fries. You know how like sriracha's everywhere now?
Yeah.
Like everyone's putting sriracha in everything.
Like the hip kind of it.
Yes, it's the hipster ketchup is what it is. I dip my fries in the Florida ketchup, which is barbecue sauce.
Nice.
I mean, Listen, man, like these fries, like those thin, skinny, like really crunchy fries, dip those in some barbecue sauce, man. It's so good. It'll make a bishop kick in a stained glass window. I mean, it's that good. I mean, I'm not, there's no hyperbole there. So caprese sandwich, it's not a mic drop, but it's pretty darn good for Hollywood studios. And, you can, depending on where you sit, there's tons of seating there. Lots of indoor seating with air conditioning. There's some open air seating. There's some tables you can see. The Jedi Training Academy show that they do over there next to Star Tours. So lots of cool stuff, and they have some Star Wars themed stuff on the menu too there. But you know what? Let's go for the solid standard caprese sandwich. It's a winner.
Yeah, they have the Royal Guard burger. They have the Galactic chicken and waffles over there. They went pretty heavy on the Star Wars theming a couple years ago. Yeah. But yeah, I've never had that sandwich, so I feel like I am completely unqualified to talk any further about it.
It's I think it's like, especially this time of year in the summertime, that kind of food right now is just really hot for me because, pardon the pun, because if you go into the parks in the middle of the day and if you're getting lunch there and you get something super heavy, you're going to feel really, really bad when you go out in that heat and you have a belly full of, 4,000 calories worth of food. So something like that, really, it kind of cools you down. It's very refreshing and it is satisfying. So I think that's a smart play in terms of if you're really trying to think about how are you going to feel and do you have the energy to keep going in the heat? That's a good play. Agreed.
And same thing about the Anchors Away sandwich. It's something that's not going to be too heavy. It's not going to, listen, I don't know if I've told this story before, but I'll retell it and I'll try to make it quick, which means it'll take 20 minutes to tell. So my first day, Animal Kingdom, 1998, it was a hot day, as most days at Animal Kingdom are. And I remember my
time ago.
It was 19 years ago. My Lord, it's a long time. So my trainer, who was an older guy, said to me, get something light. Like, don't, you remember it's like 95 degrees, but like 100% humidity out there. So get something light. So I was like, nah, I'm fine. I was 19, pretty good shape. I was like, nah, I'll just get whatever I want. So I got a bacon cheeseburger and fries, but I was a custodial worker at Animal Kingdom, which, custodial host, which meant I was outside the entire time. And there was no shade at Animal Kingdom then, not as much anyway. So I remember I ate the burger and fries, the whole thing, with like a large Diet Coke, because you got to save on the calories where you can. And I went out into the park and I was so sick, like cripplingly, like walking around hunched over sick because of the heat. And it can do that. And I never do that now when I'm in, and I learned my lesson that day. The rest of my college program in 98, I would get a grilled cheese or a salad every day. Because I knew if I got like a big meal like that, I'd just be sick and heat, and it's not worth it. So I know exactly what you mean, man. When it's hot out, don't go get the, don't go and get the huge foot-long cheesesteak or whatever you can get, because you'll feel pretty crappy. And then, especially if you want to go on you're going on Everest or any of the roller coasters or anything like that, you don't want to be reacquainted with that food anytime soon.
Right. Well, but I think it's not to say that there aren't good options there. I think you just have to be smart about it. So, if you're going to go to a dinner that's going to be a really big dinner or, a really heavy dinner, just make sure that you might need to take it easy after that and take a leisurely stroll around the parks or just hang out at the hotel or wait an hour and go swimming. But if you tell yourself, I'm going to go for lunch, I'm going to get go to the Crystal Palace for lunch. I'm going to get my money's worth and I'm going to eat till I feel like my britches are going to bust. And then I'm going to walk around the Magic Kingdom in the middle of the day. You need to maybe think about that. It might not be the smartest plan.
You'll be, you don't want to be the person that's, again, like my poor wife when she was pregnant with twins, yakking in a trash can. You don't want that.
Oh.
So Yeah, that was a bit. Me being the awesome husband that I am, we went to Disney to Walt Disney World when she was, I think, 3 or 4 months pregnant with twins, in the summer. So that wasn't the smartest move. And then we were staying at Wilderness Lodge, actually, and took the boat to Magic Kingdom when she was, again, pregnant with twins, on the water, shaking, the boat, rocking back and forth. She got off the boat. The poor girl headed straight to a trash can, and, all that happened in the trash can. And yet another, this is twice on this episode of the show, they had to pull the trash can because they can't leave it in the park when somebody gets sick into a trash can. So literally they called a crew over to take that trash can out and replace it with a different one. So,
do you think people who listen to your podcast who don't have kids yet hear us talking about a food themed podcast and all these these sidebar stories in the middle intermingled with food and go, so that's what happens when you have kids? You're cool with that? And then it totally deters them. Look, if you're listening and you don't have kids yet and you hear this, hey, guess what? It's okay. You'll get conditioned. It's not like that all the time, but it becomes kind of a thing you're no longer as freaked out about as you are before you had kids.
No, absolutely. You just don't. It doesn't factor in as much. All right, I'll stop trying to gross people out.
It's an afterthought. Yeah.
All right. So I think this is my fourth one, right? And then I have one more after this. So yeah, I want to save my last theme park for last. And my next one is one of my favorite restaurants in Walt Disney World. It is one of the newer restaurants, it's not new now, but it's newer. And it's the Boathouse. And this is why I didn't pick the Columbia Harbor House lobster roll, because I had a lobster roll at the Boathouse, and dude, it is amazing. So it's a real fresh Maine lobster. It's not any of the, how you go to the supermarket and they have the imitation lobster bits. It's not like that. You ever see that in the little bag that you can buy? It's not that. It's actual Maine lobster. They put it on the New England style split top bun. That's a big deal in New England. I found out going there that it looks like a hot dog roll, but a little different. I don't know what the big deal is, but if you're a real New Englander, apparently you have to have that split top bun. And it's delicious. It's fantastic. It's expensive. It's a $29 sandwich, which is, think about it, $29, even by Disney standards, is pretty pricey. But I've had some really, really good lobster rolls in my day. This one is the second best one, seriously, I've ever had. The number one lobster roll I ever had was a place in Boston called the James Hook and Company restaurant, or it's right on the water. I don't know if it's a restaurant, but basically you go inside. It's like a little fish market. You order your food. They make it fresh. You sit outside by the water and eat, your lobster roll. They put it in like a tin foil. They hand it to you. It's like very no frills, but man, was it awesome. So this is just a notch below that lobster roll. So to me, to find that in, Disney Springs in Walt Disney World is amazing. And if you haven't been to the Boathouse, that's a place you got to go. I love it. The service there is phenomenal. It's a really cool restaurant to kind of get to walk around in, go outside and see all the antique boats that they have docked there. It's very, very cool. So yeah, man, that's my next to last is the lobster roll from the Boathouse.
And I think, unfortunately, if somebody's hearing that and getting some sticker shock, look, this is a vacation. You're going to have to live it up a little bit. And you're not going to eat a $29 lobster roll every Saturday night. You can if you want. God bless you if you do, but it doesn't have to be that way. And think about it too, as this is an experience. That restaurant is absolutely gorgeous, and there's just some neat little things that they've adorned inside the restaurant and outside the restaurant. And then the boats are just beautiful. The amphicars, watching them launch. It's a fun experience to eat there. And that's not how everything on the menu is. There are some more affordable options on the menu. I think I've only been there once, and I got fish tacos, and it was reasonably priced for fish tacos, and it was really darn good. They execute very well from what I've seen and from what I've heard. That I don't think I've talked to anybody who's been disappointed with the quality of the food.
No, I think you and I have talked about that before on the show, and we said that same thing. Like I've had guests, clients that I've recommended go there, and not almost every time, if they've ever mentioned it to me, it's just to talk about how good the food was and really how excellent the service is, because it's great.
Right. Yeah, man, that's a good pick.
Thanks, man. It's the one place in Walt Disney World where I went to the bathroom and I came back and my napkin was like refolded on my seat when I came back. And I looked at my friends and I was like, well, you guys didn't do it. Like, I know they didn't do it. So it was, the server saw that my napkin was on the table. She came over and folded it into whatever shape they were doing that day. And yeah, it's pretty fancy schmancy. So for me, the guy who's used to the Wawa hoagie or the, that sandwich is awesome. So that's why I wanted to include it. And I know you're right. Sticker shock is a definite thing with it, but like you said, if you're on vacation, live it up a little bit once in a while. Why not?
And they deliver too. I mean, you can tell it's like the way you described it sounded like $29 worth of lobster roll. So
what's funny is when you said it, I was like, they deliver? Oh man, I want to get it. I didn't know that.
They hop on one of those Venetian canal boats and they just take it down to Port Orleans, which I've seen that, by the way. I've seen one of their boats down at Port Orleans before, because that whole canal area connects.
Yeah, man. Because you can get the boat from those resorts to Disney Springs. By the way, you said it, and those you can take the Amphicar, or you can get one of those old school boats. They have like tours at night that you can do and rent them out for private events. Yeah. Really, really cool. I think not all of them. A lot of them are on loan by private collectors. So, but it's cool that you can't go on them, but you can go right up to them and check them out. And if you're somebody who's into boats, like I don't, as you can probably tell, I'm kind of a landlubber. I don't know much about boats, but they're really cool to walk around and check out. And a couple of them remind me of boats from Indiana Jones. So I thought that's about how far my
they're all shot up.
Yeah.
That would be funny though if the Amphicar was how they delivered.
Dude, they're missing out on an opportunity right there.
No, I know. Just to drive it down to Celebration, deliver down there.
Man,
that'd be so awesome. Funny. Yeah, those things probably top out at like 13 miles an hour. I don't know how fast they go on the road. I don't think you want to go any faster than that if they can.
No. Anyway, yeah, that would be awesome if you're just like sitting outside your resort and the guy pulls up with like his captain's hat and like the lobster roll and it's cooler because it obviously would be hot by the time you got it to you and those things. Anyway, sorry, I'm completely off the rails again.
No, man, no worries. That's definitely a good pick. So I think I'm on my last one here, and it's amazing that we pulled this off. I mean, I don't know if this last one is one you picked, but you didn't pick anything on my list. We're getting pretty darn good at this.
Yes.
So I don't know if you know this about me, but I took French in all 5 years of high school. So I'm pretty well versed at the language of love, if you know what I mean. So my next pick, are you ready for this? I'm going to say it in I'm not going to say it in American. I'm going to say it in the French, how they do it.
All right. I'm ready.
It's over at Epcot in the France Pavilion.
Oh, you're going to, yeah.
It's Les Halles Boulangerie Patisserie is where it is. That's how they say it in France, by the way.
That's perfect.
It's flawless. I mean, literally, I could go to Paris right now and just blend in. They wouldn't even know I was an ugly American. So the sandwich, though, that I'm really, really into over there. Again, I'll give it to you in French. It's Briec aux pommes. That's how they say it in French.
That's perfect.
Basically, take brie cheese, and it's on like this multi-grain baguette. So it has a little bit of texture. No disrespect. I love just plain baguette with some butter. Like that's no joke right there. But this is a multi-grain baguette. Nice slices of brie cheese, some sliced green apple, and like this like cranberry jam or spread on there. Kind of like the cranberries you'd have at like Thanksgiving. So not just like plopping whole cranberries on the sandwich or on the roll. You see a theme here, man. I when I'm thinking sandwiches, I don't want to go super crazy and heavy duty, but this is like it's a very rich sandwich. So, brie cheese, that's kind of a very rich cheese. So you can't eat a whole ton of it. I think it goes so nicely with the apples and the cranberries, and that roll is it got this really nice crust on it. So it's no joke, legit bread. Be sure, this is a pro tip. So if you got your pen and paper handy, everybody, go ahead and pull that out and get ready. Pro tip: when you go there, these are cast members who are visiting from France. Make sure you say it that way, France. Get real nasally on it. And
I love that, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. You really want to endear yourself to these cast members because they're here. They're guests here in the United States. We want to make them feel at home. So make sure you do your best to pronounce everything correctly. They love it when you try to get in there and really immerse yourself in their culture. So it's the brie aux pommes. And that's how you'd say it in France. That's how you should order it. And you'll make sure that they'll give you the best one. They'll look over the whole collection that they have already prepared and say, "Oh, this is this one. I'll give this one to this guy. He's down. He's down for the cause."
He's got the language down perfectly.
Yeah, it's kind of like a French caprese sandwich. Like the Italian. We talked about earlier, mozzarella and tomato. This is like their version of it. I love it. It's nice. And the only downside is seating's a little limited and kind of hard to get. But I would say, I think this little restaurant is kind of under the radar for a lot of people because it's tucked back in the back of the France pavilion. And so you have to kind of know to go back there and look for it. If you can get a seat in there, it's great. It's nice. Sometimes you might have to go sit outside and enjoy your sandwich. But so that being said, maybe kind of time it right. Time it maybe a little before lunch rush, or a little after lunch rush, if you're looking to sit down and enjoy the air conditioning in there. So that's my pick, number 5. Boulangerie Patisserie is where it's at.
Now I want to try to remember to put the French accents in, because now I want to see how it's actually pronounced. I've never even tried to pronounce those words before. I just kind of point and grunt.
Yeah.
Or if you're in there, you just point to the menu, like the menu item. Because I can't do it.
What you do is you kind of like roll your shoulders and then you like crack your neck side to side and like crack your knuckles like you're getting ready to like do Sylvester Stallone over the top arm wrestling. Flip your hat to the back and you just let it rip. Just go. Just be very loose with how you pronounce it. It'll work every time. Trust me.
Yeah, everybody will love that there. What's really funny is I wonder with a lot of these restaurants at World Showcase what like the average guest how things are pronounced. Like, because there obviously are people who were a little more worldly than you and I who can really pronounce the heck out of stuff like that, and then there's people like
I don't know, man. I'm a regular Carmen Sandiego here, man.
Oh man, that was good. All right. Okay, Carmen Sandiego, got it. I just had a flashback to the game show remember the game show with the kids that would play, and I remember the computer game obviously, but they had a TV game show for a while. It was Where in the World is, and the deep voice guy would go, Carmen Sandiego. It was just really I don't think it was a great show. I don't think it was a great show, but anyway. All right, so for my last one, and thank you, great pick. I can't pronounce any of the words, so I'm not gonna add a whole lot to the do patisserie or however the heck you say it.
Hey, loosen it up, man. Get loose.
Patisserie. So my last one, and actually I might have an honorable mention or two, maybe just one. But my last one is at the Magic Kingdom, Sleepy Hollow Refreshments. And it's one that was off the menu for a while. It was there for a while, then it was off for maybe a year, and then they brought it back. and it is the spicy chicken and waffle sandwich at Sleepy Hollow. For the listener who may not know, Sleepy Hollow is a little kind of, it's a counter service like stand basically in Liberty Square at the Magic Kingdom. All the seating is outside, so you can't go inside anywhere. I mean, you could find somewhere in Liberty Square or in Fantasyland if you want to go sit down and eat it. But the seating area is outside there. But the chicken and waffle sandwich is a buffalo style chicken, like fried chicken tender with a huge like Belgian waffle, like giant waffle, coleslaw and arugula. Now you were talking earlier about arugula and how it adds texture to the sandwich and flavor, and I got to be honest with you, man. I don't even know what arugula tastes like. I take it off my sandwich. I take it off my sandwich every time. I never.
Oh, really?
I do.
That's good stuff on there.
The look of it freaks me out, so I just take it off.
Because you think it looks like a weed or something?
It does. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a weird. Again,
it's probably all it is. And someone decided to eat it one day. Say, okay, here's the next thing for the hipsters.
It's the new big thing. Yeah. So I take it off. Like I don't even know what arugula tastes like, but it's not too spicy. I know the word spicy is in the title of the sandwich. It's not like super like wings to go hot, like suicide wings. Spicy. It's a very like tolerable taste, even for people who don't like really, really hot, spicy things. And the coleslaw kind of balances it out. It's like the waffle is they're always made fresh where it's kind of hot, and the chicken and it's a little sweet, and the chicken's hot. Dude, it's awesome. And when they took it off the menu, I think it was like $8 like $8.29 or something, or $8.99. And then it went off the menu for a while. Then they brought it back, and it's $10.99. So they upped it by a couple bucks, which is kind of a bummer. But again, it's not, the waffle's huge, so it's pretty filling. The chicken's not huge. I feel like I'm not giving a great endorsement to the sandwich. It is excellent, and I like getting it and just kind of sitting in that little section, kind of people watching at Liberty Square, watching everybody run in. And the new added bonuses, it's a very portable sandwich. They serve it like on a little, like a little cellophane wrapper, so you can kind of wrap, like, fold it in half and walk with it while you eat it. So you can kind of stand and watch the Great Moments in History show with the Muppets while you have your sandwich. You really can't beat that. That show is a lot of fun. I think there's like 3 different versions, right, of the show. Maybe I forget what they said. I feel like I've seen the same one a couple of times, but yeah, I really like the addition of the Muppets to Liberty Square. So to me, that is my last one. Again, these weren't in. If I had to say, is that my favorite one that I mentioned tonight? Probably not. My favorite one, looking back, is probably the braised beef grilled cheese from Contempo Cafe, but the spicy chicken and waffle sandwich is pretty awesome. So yeah, that's it. That's what I got.
Yeah, man, I just had some flashbacks with, portable food. I remember sitting in the backseat of the old Biscayne when I was a kid. Grandma short sleeve behind the wheel. She used to eat corn on the cob while she's driving. Windows open, shrapnel flying at me. I had to wear goggles when I was in the back seat there, and the windows down. She was a handful, man. So I like to sit down when I eat now, because just getting, I don't like to multitask.
Yeah, she's. We've heard lots of interesting stories about Grandma short sleeve in the last several months.
Yeah.
My favorite being that when I said I didn't know she was still with us, and you said she's not. But anyway, I would have to go back to that episode. I forget what we were even talking about. But yeah, that was one of the. I don't know if I've ever laughed that hard on a podcast before, and I remember listening to it after and laughing even harder. It was just so funny.
She said she liked that episode.
I'm so confused. All right, man. Well, do you have any honorable mentions? I'm sorry, I'm flustered. Honorable mentions to mention tonight.
I'm surprised neither of us can. I strategically didn't mention this one, and I thought you might mention it. So let's throw it on there. The holiday turkey sandwich.
Yeah, I thought you were going to mention
sandwich. It. Yeah, see, we're trying to psych each other out. That's the problem. sliced turkey, cornbread stuffing, turkey gravy, cranberry sauce. I think they even throw mayo on it. I don't like mayo, man. Mayo is just not my thing.
I don't do mayo either. Nope. No way.
Yeah,
except for tuna. I like mayo on tuna fish. I can deal with that.
But here's the thing, man. It's, I dare say, like one of the most affordable meals at Disney. It's like $6 for that sandwich or something like that.
And yeah,
and it's pretty darn good.
Did you mention where it was from? From Earl's Sandwiches? What?
Oh yeah, Earl's Sandwich in the marketplace section of Disney Springs. So, like in the old school area, right by, there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's like the Spice Traders is right next door to it, like the Christmas store.
Yeah, Once Upon a Toy, I think it's kind of casual.
Once Upon a Toy, yeah, that's the other one. There's like a little water fountain right there. That's a cool spot because I think all the sandwiches are like $6 or $7, like all the same price. I like it. It's good because it's not huge. So, Disney Springs has so many good little food options that you can kind of pop into, like not like they have good sit down places, obviously, but also it's like some cool little stands. So, you don't want to go like too crazy because then you won't be able to enjoy some of the other stuff. So that's just enough. Like if you call that your lunch and you'll have some time where you're going to be walking through the stores and doing whatever. You're going to be burning energy. You're going to need a little pick me up here and there. You won't be so stinking full from lunch after that, but it's good. It's a solid sandwich. That's a hot spot for the locals too. A lot of locals like because it's cheap. And then you get the annual pass discount there too. What's
really funny is if you go there during the week at like the regular lunch hour, the line is always like super long. Because I think a lot of locals go there on their lunch break. My thing about that place, though, about Earl's Sandwich is so many of their sandwiches are good. I love like almost everything they have. But they got rid of their meatball sandwich a while back. It was called Cannonballs. Do you remember that one?
No.
Dude, their meatball sandwich was so good. And when we were locals, when Amy and I were locals, we would go and we would get the 1762, which is like their original sandwich. It's roast beef, cheddar, and horseradish, and then get Cannonballs, which is their meatball sandwich. And this might be a theme that you're noticing. We would split the two, and they got rid of the Cannonballs, and it was such a good meatball sandwich. We were bummed. Anyway, that was kind of my the holiday turkey was kind of my honorable mention as well. So I'm going to go completely, just to finish the show out, I'm going to go completely out of Walt Disney World and cheat 100% because I can. and you can too if you want, but I'm just saying I can. Excuse me. And I'm going to go with one sandwich you have to absolutely get. It's a Disney sandwich and try in your life is the Monte Cristo from the Blue Bayou in Disneyland. I don't know if you've had it. It is, dude, it is awesome.
I'm a fat guy. Of course I've had it.
Dude, I never thought I would like that kind of sandwich.
I know.
It's
heavy though.
It is. Oh, it's super heavy. Yeah. And from what I remember, it's only served at lunch at Blue Bayou. And so that they do serve it all day though at the Cafe Orleans.
Cafe Orleans. Yeah, that's right.
That's outside. Yeah.
Main Street.
The counter service, and there's another version of it too. Like the one at the Blue Bayou serves is they're like the traditional Monte Cristo. It's like turkey, ham, cheese, fried with like the berry jam that you dip it in. The Cafe Orleans has one that is a 3-cheese Monte Cristo, and it's Swiss mozzarella and double creme. I would say it looks like it's a French spelling. I would say cream, but it looks like creme. Brie, fried, topped with the powdered sugar, and you can dip it in the berry puree. So I've never had that one. I've had the regular Monte Cristo, and it's awesome. And it's weird, again, because it's something like, I never thought I would like a sandwich with like 2 different kinds of meat and cheese that's deep fried, topped with powdered sugar that you dip in like jelly. It sounds really weird, but it's so good. It's when I was in Disneyland by myself, I was by myself like a crazy person. I went to Blue Bayou for lunch and sat in the dark in Blue Bayou on my phone to get the Monte Cristo. So there you go. And with that, our connection was cut off. And we couldn't get it back, even though we tried several times. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. And here comes the ending music and me telling you that is going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you for listening. And that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Ear to There podcast. Thanks to my guest, the one, the only, the always fun Mr. Johnny Shortsleeve for stopping by once again and for keeping me and hopefully you thoroughly entertained throughout the episode. I can't stop laughing when I have him on. It's always a lot of fun. I mean, who else would talk about combine stories of wetting your pants with the topic of sandwiches? Come on. You don't get this anywhere else. Let's be for real. All right. So thank you so much again for listening. It is always greatly appreciated. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, just like I hope you enjoy every episode. These are a ton of fun to do, and if you did enjoy it, please do me a favor. I've made it really easy for you to be able to subscribe, to rate, and to review the show. So if you haven't subscribed, you'll get the episodes automatically downloaded to whatever device you listen to each and every week. And then the rating and the review just really helps more people see the show in iTunes. So if you haven't already, please head over to eartotheretravel.com/iTunes. And there I've set up an easy tutorial on how to subscribe, how to rate, how to review the show. Thank you so much in advance for doing that. It is so greatly appreciated, and you are awesome. And I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. And I also really appreciate you. So thank you so much for listening, for spending some time with me. Like I said, it's a ton of fun. It's so much fun talking Disney every week and hearing from you guys. So thank you for listening. Thank you for getting in touch. And just remember, there will be a new episode of the Ear to There podcast each and every Monday morning, as well as a new episode of the Ear to There podcast, Walt Disney World Word of the Week, and that'll be each and every Wednesday morning. So until next time, thank you again so much for listening. Have an awesome week. Bye-bye.